home. Waterbound and he can't get home. Waterbound and he can't get home. Back to North Carolina.
Jumped right in.
Yeah. They probably wanted us to wait and be introduced, but that's not really our style.
Yeah, we just jumped right in. Yeah. And that song would probably been a porch song. It was a play party song. But after what we went through last fall, Waterbound is stuck in North Carolina. That kind of has a different ring to it when I hear water songs.
But it did seem like we were all doing a lot of work still are doing a lot of work digging out the mud, but that is kind of what would get you through. Like, if you can't get home, you might as well stay and play another tune. You might as well stay and dance another dance. So that's kind of a fun one, and I've played it through electrical storms in Virginia, and I've played it all kind of, it always comes back to that tune, and yeah, I always like a tune with North Carolina in the name of it.
And waterbound also could mean the fact that you drunk too much, and you're soggy with whiskey.
Yeah.
So this next song is definitely a parlor song. A lot of times in Appalachia, if things weren't said face to face, you'd learn it through the music. Somebody might have a certain thing that they would sing. So this song is called Give Me the Roses, and it's an extremely sentimental song that you would probably hear in the parlor or a front room. So we're just going to jump into that one. Wonderful things of folks are said when they have passed away. Roses adorn the narrow bed over the sleeping clay. Give me the roses while I live, trying to cheer me on. Useless are flowers that you give after the soul has gone. Now is the time to speak kind words while here on earth we stay. Don't wait till death to do good deeds. Now do those deeds today. Give me the roses while I live, trying to cheer me on. Useless are flowers that you give after the soul is gone. Give me the roses while I live, trying to cheer me on. Useless are flowers that you give after the soul has gone. So I didn't grow up with a parlor, but we did have a front room, and I played the piano, so I was expected to perform at will when anybody visited. If it was the preacher, it was hymns. If it was certain people, they had certain songs they wanted. I remember an aunt that came, it was always Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. Remember that old country song? if you'd played me that, I'd go home happy. And so I learned that, and I knew when they came in the driveway, this is somebody that wants a certain song. And we would sing hymns. And that was something, as Davey said, things have changed a lot, primarily because of cell phones and the computer. I mean, you wouldn't even think of trying to get away from relatives or people that showed up. You knew you were in for 2 solid hours of talk, listening, maybe playing the piano or whatever. And it taught you how to interact with people of all different ages. And there were some people I said, if we only had a back door, I'd be out of here.
Was it your grandma that got you too? It was always my grandma. Pearl, sit down here. And yeah, it was the hymns, and then when I learned to yodel on the Western songs, it was always a yodeling song to entertain her church friends. Yeah.
So this might be a song if you wanted somebody to marry you. This Say Darling Say, which started out as Hush Little Baby, started out with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is a song that's an example of sort of the folk process. So you'll hear a lot of different verses passed around through this song. They call them floating verses. So if there's a verse that you know to Shady Grove or one of the other songs that has a similar meter, you can stick it into any song. So this one has some familiar words that you can join in on. It's called Say Darling Say. Speaking of familiar words.
They're even more familiar when you have them in front just in case.
Well, yeah. I know which ones you're supposed to sing, which
ones
I'm
supposed to. I'm not singing it.
Okay. Say, little darling, will you marry me? Live in the holler neath the old oak tree. Say, darling, say, neath the old oak tree we'll make our home. Never more this world to roam. Say, darling, say.
And so we're both mountain girls, but we come from 2 different kind of musical traditions. And some of the songs, we've heard them different ways. And we just started playing together. And we decided we'd do almost all new songs for this, just for this, to learn them and play together and figure out how different the songs, how we knew them, and then to somehow make a hybrid. And that's kind of what happened.
Which is what happens. And before nowadays, if you want to learn an old song, a real old song, like before recording, my son's asking if he can eat a snack. This is my son, Emil. He's carried all my stuff for me today. But you can nowadays look on YouTube, and there's real old recordings that people have uploaded onto YouTube. So, of course, a whole different way of learning songs, but we have access to things we never would have before. But I can remember when people would come through town, and they would just want to sit and learn all your tunes. Just play me all your tunes. And so there is a tradition of passing tunes around, and actually people in one county might just only know one kind of small set of tunes, But if you got around and traveled to other places, that's how you'd learn new tunes. So that song. So I was born here, just right down the valley. You can almost see it from here. But my parents, my mom grew up in Berea, Kentucky. So a lot of the music that I have learned was things that she brought from there. So when we go to Christmas country dance school at Berea, one of the things that they do, and I remember Gene Ritchie's niece, Patty, leading Parlor. They called it Parlor, and it was the time of day when in the evening, we'd all come and sit in the same room, and different people would stand up and share a song or a story. And so that's really what I think about as parlors. I think about Patty and Gene Ritchie and all those folks up there. That's where I learned a lot of my songs.
Yeah, and the cool thing about learning a song from somebody is they're in that song. Like some of the people I've learned music from, song from, they've passed on. But when I sing that song, it's like they're right there with me. And so there's something stronger about that. I mean, I have learned songs off of YouTube. Now this song is kind of like you might call a feminist song. I've never heard a man sing it yet. There's two ways of looking at it. It's called Virginia Girls and West Virginia Boys. And it's a woman telling other women, don't even bother with those West Virginia boys. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you why. But what I think also it could have been was they're warning them off because they don't want you getting their men. So let me tell you how bad they are. You know, don't advertise your man, so to speak.
And there's a whole series of songs that are from the perspective of mother to daughter saying, just look out, just don't even
But it also could be they're warning you for real.
Yeah.
So this one is Virginia Girls. Oh, now come on, you Virginia girls, and listen to my noise. Don't go courting those West Virginia boys, 'cause if you do, your fortune will be Johnny cakes and venison and sassafras tea. Johnny cakes and venison and sassafras tea. And when he comes a courting, I'll tell you what he'll wear. Long-tailed coat, just about to tear. Pair of old boots with the tops turned down. Pair of red socks he wears the whole year round. Pair of red socks he wears the whole year round. I love this verse. And when he comes a courting, he'll bring his own chair. First thing he say is his daddy killed a bear. Next thing he'll ask for, he sits down. Now, honey, can you make them Johnny cakes brown? Honey, can you make them Johnny cakes brown? And when he builds a house, he'll build it with log walls. Won't have windows, none at all. An old slab door and a punch-in frame. A sandstone chimney and a punch-in floor. A sandstone chimney and a punch-in floor. Now come all you Virginia girls and listen to my noise. Don't go courting those West Virginia boys, 'cause if you do, your fortune will be, what is it? Johnny cakes and venison and sassafras tea. Johnny cakes and venison and sassafras tea.
Well, when we're thinking about sitting on the porch and playing tunes together, a lot of time, well, in the respectable households, I'm sure not always, but once you get out back, some of the rules somebody's always passing around something, and as a kid, my parents were musicians, and I definitely remember just hours of waiting for them. We'd fall asleep under the piano or in the house or something, and they'd be sitting on the porch for hours playing tunes. And so one of the things I've noticed is people like to talk about, like, have you ever been driving in a rural area and you see a big sign that's like, come see the three-headed rooster, or what, you know, like farm animals and the oddities are just such a fascinating thing. So I kind of think of this song as like, there's a million verses and we won't sing them all, but they're all ridiculous and silly, and it just feels like a bunch of guys saying, well, you know, I used to have this hen. Well, she had a wooden leg. Well, this hen, you know. So we're going to sing Cluck Old Hen, and it has a chorus too. It's just a fiddle tune, but it's a little bit shorter tune than a lot of the tunes that we play, and so it's just real repetitive. It kind of gets in a groove because of the tuning that it's in, and people just play it for hours. I can attest as a young child, and Emil can attest too, that people just play that tune for hours and hours and make up verses as they need to. Cluck old hen, cluck and sing, ain't laid an egg since way last spring. Cluck old hen, cluck and squall, ain't laid an egg since way last fall. Cluck old hen, cluck and sing, ain't laid an egg since way last spring. Cluck old hen, cluck and squall, ain't laid an egg since way last fall. You gonna sing one?
Listen here, hen, what I tell you, if you don't lay hens, then I'll sell you. Last time she cackled in the lot. Next time she cackled in the pot.
Cluck old hen, cluck and sing, ain't laid an egg since way last spring. Cluck old hen, cluck and squall, ain't laid an egg since way last fall. Sometimes 8, sometimes 10, that's enough for the railroad men. Cluck old hen, cluck and sing, ain't laid an egg since way last spring. Cluck old hen, cluck and squall, ain't laid an egg since way last fall.
A poor old hen.
Poor hen.
Yeah. Well, in my musical journey, and one of the things I wanted to do was write a song about family history and have it for my family. And there was a tragic thing that happened to my family with my great-grandfather, who was a lawman who was killed in the line of duty. And it never came to justice. There was quite a bit that went on, a mistrial and such. And I decided, in the county where that happened, there was going to be a poetry contest. I decided I would write a poem and then turn it into a song. My hope was it would be printed in the paper. It had been 100 years since it had happened. And so this song's pretty bloody because, you know, murder is never right, but revenge can be sweet even 100 years later. So this is not what happened, but this is what happened now. And so it caused a little bit of a problem with some people because the descendants of the one that got away with it still live. And but anyway, we got to have our say. So it's called the Clinchville Tracks, and I've changed the names for the innocent. Big James was a foreman, Black Bear mine, cooked his sour mash by the dark riverside. One moonlit night, he shot in the back and left there to die by the Clinchville Tracks. And that whistle blows so high, there's smoke across the trestle where the North Fork winds, and that lonesome wind does cry. There's ghosts walk the tracks when the full moon shines. His widow and sons left the old home place. There was no justice, Lord, it was a disgrace. His sons vowed it'd soon come a day when they'd put their daddy's slayer in a cold, dark grave. And that whistle blows so high, there's smoke across the trestle where the North Fork winds, and that lonesome wind does cry. There's ghosts walk the tracks when the full moon shines. They found their daddy's killer, bragging on his deed, laughing with his buddies, too drunk to take heed. The morning sun from the dead on his back, feet and hands tied to the Clinchville track. And that whistle blows so high, there's smoke across the trestle where the North Fork winds, and that lonesome wind does cry. There's ghosts walk the tracks where the full moon shines.
That's Janet Wiseman, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't get introduced, so I'll just tell you her name. And it's been real fun getting to play some tunes with her.
And Pearl Shirley.
Okay.
So the Civil War really broke some families apart in the mountains. And for most people in the mountains, way too poor to have anything like a person working for them or anything like that. A lot of it was about taxes. And so even families would, some fought for the blue or some fought for the gray. So this is kind of a story about people making choices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, tough times. Gosh, all around here, I mean, folks in my family definitely fought on both sides, and it was a tough time. So this
changed a lot in the mountains. So in honor of everybody that lived through that, here we go.
Okay. Okay. 3, 4. I'm going across the mountain, oh fare you well. Going across the mountain, hear my banjo tell.
And well, you may notice if you do listen to a lot of old time music that there's a lot of the same melodies happening over and over. And you talk to people, they're like, well, that's an awfully good melody. Why would I want to get another one? I can just use that one and change the words. And so you'll hear songs that often sound alike, and I hear them more and more, and I'll just go from one song into the other. Well, this song came about in that same way, and they kind of go together in a lot of ways.
Just trying to drink all my water. Told them where the water fountain was.
I will wash all your clothes, I will scrub all your clothes, and I will get my baby out of jail. Yes, Warden, I'm just here to get my baby out of jail. And there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. When that trumpet starts to sound, I'm gonna jump up out of that ground. Ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. That train runs right, I'll be home tomorrow night. You know I want my baby out of jail. Yes, Warden, I'm just here to get my baby out of jail. And there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. When that trumpet starts to sound, I'm gonna jump up out of that ground. Ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. When those gates swung wide apart, held her darling to her heart, and she kissed her baby boy, and there she died. Yes, Warren, in the arms of her dear boy, there she died. And there ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. When that trumpet starts to sound, jump up out of the ground. Ain't no grave gonna hold my body down.
Yeah, so you can really see directly and indirectly how a lot of these songs have, of course, spiritual and African roots, and also Cherokee roots, and just everything got all mixed up together, and a lot of the fiddle parts sound very Scottish, and it all gets lumped up together, but that's what makes it special.
And the railroads had a lot to do with that too. Bringing in different music, people playing together. My own grandfather, he rode the rails for a while and learned a lot on the harmonica and guitar. That's my disreputable grandfather.
Thank you.
Who I guess I got my music from.
He said we got 10 more minutes.
All right, we got plenty of time.
There's no clock up there, and so I had to ask him to go find the time.
So You want to do Cumberland Gap or
Okay.
Free Little Bird? Do Cumberland Gap, Far
Sure.
Away Skies and Angel Bend.
Yeah.
All right.
That's good. Okay, so this one's Cumberland Gap. So, of course, where my mom grew up, the Cumberland Gap was sort of loomed large, and it was a very narrow area in the Cumberland Mountains where you could get from east to west, and so hundreds of thousands of people, Europeans, traveled through there. Of course, in addition, for thousands of years before that, it was a really special spot because you could easily get through the mountains. Easily, relatively speaking.
Easily.
It was the original European explorers were like, no, this is still too much trouble, and said, let's not go in there. And then it turned out, it became the way to go. So, but one of my favorite verses in this song, this is all about the Cumberland Gap, and there's again a million verses. And one of my favorites is Cumberland Gap's a mighty fine place. There's 3 kinds of water to wash your face. And I've seen places that said that's probably like spring water, river water, and something else. But I have a feeling that it might be some kind of fire water too, maybe involved in there, because I've heard other verses about that. So just take it as you please. Is it A?
A.
Well, I'm traveling to Cumberland Gap, see my granny and my grandpap. Cumberland Gap, oh Cumberland Gap, everybody's heading for the Cumberland Gap. Pull the ox to the wagon, everything's packed. Everybody's heading for the Cumberland Gap. Cumberland Gap, oh Cumberland Gap, everybody's heading for the Cumberland Gap. Listen here, Chrissy, if you don't care, leave that liquor jug a-sitting there. If it's not there when I get back, I'll raise the devil on Cumberland Gap. Cumberland Gap, oh Cumberland Gap, everybody's heading for the Cumberland Gap. Cumberland Gap's a mighty fine place, 3 kinds of water to wash your face. Cumberland Gap, oh Cumberland Gap, everybody's heading for the Cumberland Gap. When I die, I'll make a will, wanna be buried on Cumberland Hill. Cumberland Gap, oh Cumberland Gap, everybody's heading for the Cumberland Gap. Cumberland Gap, oh Cumberland Gap, everybody's heading for the Cumberland Gap.
So most of these songs are several hundred years old, but this is a new song. And when I heard it, I thought this has the spirit of those old songs about it. And I thought, I'm just going to add this in. And it's not about Appalachia. It was written by a guy named Dean Johnson out west. 5 minutes. Yeah, we got time for 2 more songs. So this one is a new song with the spirit of the old songs. At least I feel that. And for me, and everybody's got compassion overload after the hurricane, and nobody wants to talk about recovery and everything. But this is the song that I've been singing since I lived below a dam on a creek. And after all that went down, this was the song that I happened to be listening to a lot, and I'm still listening to it. For me, it's kind of brought a feeling of healing. And when everything looks pretty much like chaos, you can kind of wish you're somewhere else. And that's what this song is about.
And there's a lot of songs like that in the old-timey tradition
Yeah, it's
of
true.
westward,
Wishing you're somewhere else.
wishing to be in the west.
You wouldn't know by looking at me. I'm a cowboy. I'm forever out riding on the range of my mind. I'm a cowboy neath faraway skies. Cattle calls and canyon walls, the jangle of spurs. At the light of dawn, put the saddle on, start moving the herd. The distant horizon is a glorious sight, and I'm getting lost in the Milky Way tonight. Got my lightning lasso and my trusty horse blue, and I have a 6-sheeter too. Got my old Stetson hat and my shaggy mustache. Yes, I'm at home on the range. Tumbleweed and buffalo, the rivers run wild. Sunset over lonely hills, ghosts ride the skies. The warrior song has me feeling just right, and I'm getting lost in the Milky Way tonight. Life passes me by. I've been too slow for these times. So now you'll be knowing if you look in my eyes. I'm a cowboy neath faraway skies. Cattle calls and canyon walls, the jangle of spurs. At the light of dawn, put the saddle on, start moving the herd. The distant horizon is a glorious sight, and I'm getting lost in the Milky Way tonight. So we're going to do one more song, and this is a sing-along. A lot of y'all may know this because it was made popular by the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And I always said, and this is just me being sarcastic, deliverance kept people from moving to the mountains, and Oh Brother, Where Art Thou made people move to the mountains. So at the end of that movie, this was the song. So if you know the song Angel Band, and Mr. Gene Holdaway, would you come sing harmony with us? This is one of my mentors here, and
Oh, yeah.
the leader of Split Rail, one of the best bluegrass bands around, and he's going to sing with us. Bring up the bottom on. And anybody wants to sing along on the chorus, come on in the middle. Want to get in the middle?
Oh, I'd love to.
Get in the middle.
Get in the middle. And Miss Pearl Shirley's going to lead us all.
Well, hold on. I might have something to say because I'm full of words.
Okay, you've got 13 seconds.
13 seconds. How about a big round of applause for one of the greatest old-time acts we'll
Oh.
see?
Thanks, James. Ready? My latest sun is sinking fast. My race is nearly run. My strongest trials now are past. My victory has begun. Oh, come, angel band, come and around me I've brushed the dew on Jordan's banks. The crossing must be near. Oh, come, angel band, come and around me stand. Oh, bear me away on your snowy wings to my immortal home. Oh, bear me away on your snowy wings to my immortal home. I've almost gained my heavenly home. My spirit loudly sings. The holy ones, behold, they come. I hear the sound of wings. Oh, come, angel band, come and around me stand. Oh, bear me away on your snowy wings to my immortal home. Oh, bear me away on your snowy wings to my immortal home.
Thank y'all.
Thanks for being here.